the capitalist framework is constantly incentivizing people to plagiarize, to steal, to sit back and wait for other people to innovate. Like if I want to start a company, you know, where I'm selling Dr. whatever, why would I reinvent the wheel? Why would I spend all the time and energy and resources required to reinvent the wheel if I can just rip off the other wheel that guy made? You know what I mean? So first of all, before I start this video, please forgive my voice. I am in the middle of COVID. I think I'm over the worst of it, but I'm still clearing a lot of the junk out of my system. So that's why my voice is a lot deeper and more sultry than usual. So we're here to discuss the HBomberGuy video. Now, if you don't know who HBomberGuy is, first of all, what the f***? Second of all, if you don't know the video that I'm talking about, the video that he just released is about plagiarism. It's called Plagiarism in YouTube, and it's almost 4 hours long. And I watched the whole thing, kind of. I had it on the side while I was gaming. But I did absorb enough of the information to get the idea. He went over several content creators' videos, including Internet Historian, Illuminati, and James Summerton, all three of whom I had at least heard of, or watched a video of at some point. For instance, the Internet Historian's video I watched through Hasanabi back when I was a big fan of him. He was watching the Man in Cave video. I thought it was really good. I despise caves, you know, spelunking and all that shit can go f itself. I hate it very much because I can't stand the idea of getting suffocated in a cave. It's just not for me. I'd rather not go out that way. So I watched that video through Hassan's channel and I thought it was really good. And so I was really disappointed when I was watching HBomberGuy because I found out a lot of it is just either plagiarized or just even made up. He just made a lot of it up, but that is now permanently cemented in a lot of people's minds as like historical fact. I think most of what he said was fact, but there were some details that were like too off to be acceptable. So HBomberGuy did a fantastic video calling all this shit out. And it's just insane, absolutely insane, the amount of plagiarism, blatant copying that's just going on here. Frankly, I couldn't believe it. You know, he would overlay. Here, let me see if I can find a segment for you. He would overlay some of this stuff. Let me look at the Illuminati segment. It's really funny. I bet it's like one of the more viewed parts.
And at the end, Blair says those two documentaries were some of the sources she used for her video.
I used both the Hulu and Netflix documentaries as sources for this episode, as well as various...
Watched a documentary and then downloaded it and used it to make her own. In the first 20 minutes, she plays a chunk of the documentary, or just quotes it, 25 times. More than once a minute, you're hearing something Brian Deere said from his mouth or hers. So this video is... lazy? I'm personally insulted that she just used the version of the documentary from Deer's YouTube channel with the timecode burned in.
I can't find it. There's like a segment in here. I'm going to find it. There's a part in here where he literally just overlays the two talking, and it's so funny. Wait, here it is.
For some reason doesn't cite her sources. So she started quoting it, and just not telling you she's quoting the one thing she watched. I wonder where all the other quotes come from.
And more still, nurses were leaving, saying they don't like what's being done.
Nurses were leaving and saying they didn't like what was being done to these children.
It needed 3 people to hold these kids down
in some cases, just to have blood taken. I feel very sorry for the children who I feel were being abused.
This study had, in fact, begun with a contract from a group of solicitors that were
trying to sue MMR manufacturers.
Chadwick said he had hoped the ordeal, when it hit the news, would die its own death.
It includes injecting mice with measles virus.
He injected mice with measles,
extracting their white blood cells.
Extracted their white blood cells and injected the stuff into pregnant goats.
This is amazing.
Literally said injected this stuff. Like, are you kidding me? Like, normal people don't talk like that, man. That's nerd speak. Anyway, you guys get the idea. So just evil levels of plagiarism, like blatant levels. And these people were popping out. I think Illuminati was up to like 3 videos a week, like really long videos that were like very apparently well done and edited and detailed and whatever. And they were just plagiarizing. Like, holy shit. No wonder they could get all these videos out as fast as they did. Now, on top of that, Illuminati was also being incredibly abusive to her staff, you know, and basically just narrating over the shit that they wrote. Now, to what extent, you know, she was doing the plagiarizing and to what extent it was her staff, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it is her channel and she's responsible for it. And so if her staff was plagiarizing, no matter what the reason was, she has to take responsibility for that. And I don't believe she has. On top of that, what's his name again? I keep forgetting. James Summerton, that's who it is. Let's take a look at what's going on James Summerton's profile. Oh, hold on. What's happening here? My goodness, James. What happened, buddy? It's just gone. Just gone. Very interesting. It turns out, there it is, his YouTube channel was either shut down or he did it himself. I don't know if he did it himself or not. Considering, like, I can still see, like, I don't know how YouTube's, like, ban system works, but yeah, it's the whole channel. The channel's just gone. I don't know if it's all privated, deleted. I have no clue. But it's just gone. All of it, including the profile picture and everything. So the fact that the profile picture is gone leads me to believe that it's just that this is just James Summerton taking the L. You know, like James was like, okay, you know what? I got caught. It was fun while it lasted. Goodbye, everybody, and just took his money and ran. But that's crazy, man. That's so crazy. Now, yeah, he's terrified. He's really trying to delete and purge everything so that he doesn't have to face any legal consequences. Because to be clear, plagiarism is a crime, okay? And something that is pointed out at the beginning of HBomber's video that I think is very interesting, but at the very beginning of it, he goes over like the only case in the last like 60 or something years that a dude won his plagiarism lawsuit, you know? Like he sued a company for plagiarism and he won. And that's like the last case in all this time. And it's ridiculous. You know, big companies, big corporations do this shit all the time. And it's only when, you know, smaller creators, and I know that, you know, Illuminati and James Summerton are not small creators. They have like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. They make a ton of money. I know. But what I mean is, relative to like Disney, they're tiny. They're so tiny, okay? More people in the world than not do not know who James Summerton is, or Illuminati. But more people in the world than not know what Disney is. You know what I mean? Understand what I say when I call them small creators. It's only when they do it that we start to notice, right? And I'm not playing defense for them, but I want to extend this conversation a little bit into what's happening systemically, right? Because if you think about it, what Illuminati and James Summerton and all them did is not that much different from what companies do all the time, just casually. And I want to take a look at some of the examples that I got up, 3 in particular. Why does every new car look like every other new car? That's a great question, right? Now, you can argue it's because it's optimal design, et cetera, but like think about it. You go to the car dealership and you go to one car dealership, you've been to them all, basically. They all have the exact same shit lined up side to side for you to look at and you know, test out and whatever. And I understand there are like small differences here and there, but like they all are the same thing, man. Like a sedan is a sedan, you know? And there's just no need for it, right? It's just redundant. Like think about how many cars get made and then tossed, and from how many different companies, and how many of them are just so similar that they might as well just be the same car, you know? The thing is, I'll give you another example before I explain this. My personal favorite is the Dr. Pepper clones. Okay, got Dr. Snap, Dr. Skipper, Dr. Stripes, Dr. Bob. Is Mr. Pibb there? Dr. Zevia, Dr. Fine. So they're all doctors. Where's Mr. Pibb? Come on, Mr. Pibb's got to be there. I don't see Mr. Pibb. Ooh, they did Mr. Pibb dirty. But you guys get it. Anything with doctor in front of it is basically just, you know, a Dr. Pepper ripoff, right? You know, same thing with the cookies, with crackers, chips, any food or drink related item at the store. Mr. Pibb is actually its own good soda. Okay, but you guys get my point. They're all ripoffs. And this is because, as it turns out, in a capitalist framework of the economy, it is not very profitable to innovate, to be the innovator. It's much more profitable to sit back, let other people do the innovating, let other people spend the money and the capital and the resources to find what a good product is, and then just rip it off. So, in a sense, these breadtube, quote-unquote, creators, doing capitalism perfectly fine, actually. You know, they were just following the rules of capitalism and following the money. Now, they were breaking laws, but big corporations like these and like, you know, like car companies, you know, they can get away with a lot more than other people. So they just steal ideas all the time and just rip each other off, you know. So this becomes a detriment in some ways, because you don't just have a bunch of copycats here, right? You end up getting into all kinds of problems like with medicine. Now, what's going on in medicine? Excuse me. Well, as it turns out, once again, it's a lot cheaper to let other people do the innovating and let other people do the research on new medications than it is to do it yourself. And really, these medications are also heavily state funded for their research. So what ends up happening is state funding and then private funding by certain companies goes into research for these medications, and then other companies will swoop in, take that research for themselves, develop products, and then start selling those products to people for profit, and without having any of the cost of development put on those companies, which is insane, you know? And so that's how they maximize their profits. And with medicine in particular, you can charge whatever the you want for medicine, you know, because people need that shit, insulin, etc. And it's worth noting also that the patent for insulin, as many know, was sold for $1 because the guy who not invented it, but discovered it, decided to be a human person, you know, a decent human being, and you know, decided that people need this to live, so maybe we shouldn't charge for it. But big companies got a hold of it and started charging insane amounts. So one thing that HBomber did not really, at least to my memory, touch on that much in the video. It's a great video, and this is not the focus of the video, so I don't fault him for this. But he did not touch that much on like the bigger picture here. And that is that the current structure of the economy, the capitalist framework, is constantly incentivizing people to plagiarize, to steal, to sit back and wait for other people to innovate. Like if I want to start a company, you know, where I'm selling Dr. whatever, why would I reinvent the wheel? Why would I spend all the time and energy and resources required to reinvent the wheel if I can just rip off the other wheel that guy made? You know what I mean? And just put a few more bells and whistles on it or whatever, and then just call it my own and sell it for cheaper. Because I didn't have to pay for any of the stuff that went into the researching it and making it better. The problem here, and we're going to see this on YouTube a lot. You know, we've already seen it, clearly. James Summerton, Illuminati, the internet historian. You know, all three of these people were very large, relatively speaking, creators. And they're probably not like everyone that he listed in this video, it's probably a very short list of actually all the people who are plagiarizing and just straight up like reading Wikipedia articles and then uploading them without giving any credit. Why wouldn't you? You know, if you're not going to get caught and you're not, you know, and you're going to make a bunch of money off of it, why the hell wouldn't you? You know, why would you do your own work? Why would you take a genuine interest in these things when it's so much more profitable and you have the incentive lined up to not do that and to just steal it? And so this isn't a problem with individuals here, although they are shitty individuals. This is a problem with YouTube becoming just another part of the capitalist machine, you know, just another cog. And that's very sad because I didn't start YouTube 12, 13, whatever, how many years ago with stick figure animations because I thought I was going to make a killing on YouTube. Now, there were points where I've, you know, explicitly said I would love to be able to make a bunch of money on YouTube. But, you know, that's secondary to my primary goal, which is I just want to make honest content that I personally like making and that I think other people will like. You know, it's just really sad to see YouTube fall into that, and YouTube creators especially, you know, the ones that rise to the top end up being the shittiest because they can churn out the most crap for people to watch. You know, Illuminati, there's no way that she can possibly take an interest in everything that she's talked about. You know, like she can, but not to the extent that she seemed to in her videos. It's really gross. And it's just another consequence. You know, we should use this as a starting point to explain to people why the profit incentive and capitalism in particular is constantly incentivizing behavior like this, you know, and why we need to start pushing for a more socialist framework of the economy and, you know, push toward nationalizing some of these things. I would love it if YouTube were like a nationalized company, you know what I mean? Like a decentralized company. And it were like publicly owned, publicly funded. I think that would be ideal. And that way you wouldn't, you know, anybody who's on YouTube can get some kind of stipend for their work, depending on how much like revenue they draw in, stuff like that. I just feel like it'd be a lot more fair that way. And we wouldn't get so much shit shoved into the woodwork here. And so I like this video a lot. And if you haven't watched it, you should. It's a very good video. It's 4 hours, so, you know, get comfortable. But I do feel like that's worth mentioning and worth discussing is just that profit incentive, that goddamn profit incentive, man. Cannot get past it. I just wish it were different, you know? I just wish that people still, I wish we incentivized creativity for its own sake. You know, I wish that we funded people's creative interests just because it's a good thing to do. And it gives us interesting and fun things to enjoy.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.